briefing about the upcoming Global Social Watch General Assembly, which we thought we should take the chance to provide a kind of question and answer session for those of you who want to have some particular angles. But please let me first ask those of you who will be hearing about the Social Watch Assembly for the first time. How many of you? 2 people. Okay. So for the benefit of the 2, we have to go over all of it. First of all, what is Social Watch? We'll give you some material anyway of some of the reports that have been published. But Social Watch is a global coalition that was started from 95 to 96 with a very simple objective. Governments go to major international conferences and agree all kinds of decisions. Okay? And the 1990s was a particular period, one of the many of these global assemblies. First, we had the Earth Summit in Rio in 1992. We had the Children's Summit. Then we had the Copenhagen Social Development Summit. Then we had the Beijing Women's Conference. You had the World Food Summit. You had the Human Rights Conference. It was a decade of major international development meetings. So, a group of organizations which have been associated with these processes around the time of the Copenhagen Social Development Summit, which was in March 95, and the subsequent Beijing conference later in that same 95, said, hold on a minute, somebody needs to be paying attention to how governments are implementing the promises and undertakings that they are making in these international meetings. So, Social Watch came directly out of these concerns of groups who have been associated particularly with the Social Development Summit and the Beijing Women's Conference. And let us set up a mechanism among those of us who have been involved in these processes to find out how governments are fulfilling their undertaking for poverty eradication, which was a core concern of the Copenhagen Summit, and gender equality, which was a core concern of the Beijing Conference. And how did the organizations decide to do this? They said, in each country, there are groups working on these issues. So let's establish a mechanism which allows organizations and citizens in each country who are interested to be part of this global network, which will be sharing information about how governments are implementing and fulfilling their undertakings. And a key mechanism that was agreed by the organizations was annually to publish a global Social Watch report, which would kind of have a scorecard of what each country is doing. And it's on a voluntary basis. So you can, although there are more than 200 countries in the world, it doesn't mean that all of them are covered. It depends on who is ready to do what in which country. And to make sure that everybody finds an entry point, what the report does, and actually the first report came out in 96, and it's been coming out every year since. What the report does every year is to find a broad theme under which people can then have their specific national take. Okay? So if we take this year's report, the Ghanaian report is on growing inequality. But that growing inequality can relate to the framework of the issues that the concept note for the report identifies. So every year, National Social Watch Coalition contributes to a global report, which then is a common sharing platform. But to be able to do the report, of course, you need to have Social Watch Coalition income.